Welcome to this video about ways to further customize and evolve the model created by the script of the IDP Career open source GitHub project. So we are talking about this project here. I assume that you have had read the README file and studied all the external sources referenced there, especially the videos from the Port Academy course. So this is the README file, which is self-contained, contains all the basics you need to know about what is an internal developer portal and also about Port, which is a specific implementation of IDP. Furthermore, in the section usage, more specifically setup of the data model, this is where you can get all the information about the aforementioned script that will create automatically for you the data model, and if you like, it will also install some sample data to work with. Port offers a fully customizable data model as well as UI. The UI is divided into different sections. What you see here is the default homepage. And if we switch over to the Builder tab, then you can see the data model. The data model is consisted of blueprints that you can regard as templates for creating instances called entities. You see here the set of blueprints that's being created by the script from that IDP Career open source project. And if I click on this symbol, then you can see the blueprint expanded with a list of properties and relations. The Catalog tab is showing you the instances of those blueprints segregated into different catalog pages. Based upon blueprints, Port creates for you a set of entity pages whose names are plural form of blueprints. As you can see, we have in the data model a blueprint called problem, and here by default Port creates for you an entity page called problems. For the purposes of this video, I have already filled in the catalog with several entities. You see here many problems defined. These core instances are usable, but we would like to enhance user experience by crafting more user-friendly views. The idea is to only expose derived pages instead of these default pages for users that you would like to invite. So the idea is that you will prepare a set of data for users that you will invite by clicking on this button, providing an email address, and by default setting them to be members. All members have read-only permissions by default, which is okay because you don't want ordinary users to poke around with data. But the problem is that if you expose them this set of default entity pages, it will be quite complex and confusing for them to use the data because they will need to select a specific entity page, go to the related entity section, select a specific problem. There are lots of properties exposed here that could be arranged in a much useful or more intuitive manner. So all in all, these set of pages are good for someone who is experienced working with data, but not necessarily newcomers who would like to join and just use the data in the best possible way. So what we are going to do is that we will hide these core instances, or more precisely these entity pages, and let them managed by you as an admin or by few others that you designate to be admins. Let us create a dedicated folder hosting all these default pages. By the way, I have already prepared the required changes to avoid typing errors and making actions quicker, so I will mostly copy-paste stuff, but you will be able to see the actions happening, and I will of course explain what I am doing. The first thing that we would like to do is select permissions and turn off the switch for allowing access to anybody for any of these default pages. So you will go here, select permissions, and as you can see here, this has to be turned off. By default, this is turned on. So you will need to repeat this exercise for each entity page. So we will go here, select new folder, and let's name the folder as core instances. And move each of these to this folder. So the core instances folder is now containing all the default entity pages. At the time of making this recording, Port doesn't allow you to make actions that would be applied for all subordinate items of a folder. In our case, what we have done, or more precisely, I have shown you only the example on the data structure, what we would need to do. Of course, for speeding up this video, I have already set for each entity page the proper permission. But it would be cool to be able to do this only once at the level of the folder and apply automatically everything to all the items. According to the backlog, this feature is planned for a future release. Okay, we have now this core instances folder, which is assumed to be used only by administrators or few people who will manage the data. Now we are ready to create custom pages for invited users. What follows is, of course, only one way to organize things. You might have a better or different idea. The point is to showcase Port's flexibility in making UI changes. So first we will create a new folder, and let me copy paste here this folder name, thematic collections. Okay, and inside this folder we will create a new entity page or catalog page. So the title will be Introduction to Competitive Programming. We can give a description so that we can know what it is all about. This is an optional field. We can choose an icon, for example, a book icon. And what is very important here, to choose the blueprint. And we want here to show the list of problems that belong to this thematic collection. So we will choose blueprint problem. And we will exclude all the properties that we don't want to expose in a list fashion, or more precisely, when a user selects a thematic collection, we just only want to show some few properties and let the user select other properties if they want to. So patterns, data structures, methods, technologies, successor, description, solution, source, these are all going to be hidden. And initial filters, this is very important. We need to filter the problems, because what we want to show here is only problems that belong to this collection of Introduction to Competitive Programming. We already have a blueprint called Problem Collections, and that blueprint already contains a set of problems that belong to that collection. So what we're going to do is install a filter which says only problems that are related to a specific instance of the problem collection, and in this case we will identify the matching problems collection by its identifier, unique identifier. So we will save this property and we will create this end catalog page, and all of a sudden you see a very nice list of problems that belong to this catalog or problems collection called Introduction to Competitive Programming. And we have here an identifier title. We can even hide the identifier, so we can go here and even hide this one, because this is even more user-friendly to have only the title. Port theme, that's also something which is not important here. Maybe last update is okay, but as a matter of fact, you can go here and customize the list of properties. So yes, this is okay now. So let's create another catalog page, which will show another collection. In this case, it's Advanced Competitive Programming Collection. So the steps are more or less the same, so I will execute them in a bit faster manner. Again, you can choose a icon, you can have the same problem, and by default Port is offering you to hide the same set of properties, which is okay, but here the filter needs to be changed because we want to reference another problem collection. So let's go here and copy paste over the proper ID. Let's create, and as we can see, yes, we have only one problem in the advanced collection. Again, let's hide the identifier, let's hide the port team, and yes, this is the same set of properties now in both of these catalog pages. Sorry, this is good that we have encountered this little issue. So I have hidden something and it's already shown on the screen. So what I have forgotten to do is save the view. So let's go here, let's hide the identifier, let's hide the port team, and yes, that's it. What's very important is to save this view, and you have options to save this view to all users, and we will do the same here. So then Port will remember our decision what fields should be hidden. So I will save here as well, and if we go back, yes, now it's proper. Okay, so we have created two user-friendly views on thematic collections. These catalog pages are already user-friendly, but we can make them even more useful. Port allows you to group entities based on some property. In this case, we will group problems by difficulty. So we are going here, group by any column, choose difficulty, and here it is. So Port has now grouped the problems by difficulty levels, and these numbers are showing how many easy, medium, and hard problems do we have inside this collection. Again, we need to save this view, and now the users can select, for example, only medium problems by clicking on the medium and having only medium problems shown. We will do the same here for the advanced collection as well. Group by difficulty, save the view, and that's it. If we go now to the collection, either one, and click, let's say, on the easy, we see here only the few set of properties that are meaningful and useful for a user to further select some of the problems. The tags property here is interesting because tags are defined as set of key value pairs as JSON documents, and they are left at data model non-specified, in a sense that you can define whatever key value pairs you would like to have. In our case, I have used the convention to have a key value pair attached to each problem, where a key is a language, and then I specify in what language is the problem specification written. For example, this one is English and this one is Serbian. But exposing tags in this raw format is not, again, user-friendly, so what we are going now to do is hide the tags and expose something which Port calls a calculation property. So we would like to have here a language tab or language property that will show only the value of the key associated with language. Okay, so we will first hide the tags and save the view. Go to the builder and add a new property to the problem blueprint. This will be a calculated property, so the property name will be language. This will be a calculation property. Description, we will say the problem specification language. Icon can be anything. In this case, I will select again this book icon. The string will be the data type, because that's the type of the value of what is going to be calculated by the JQ expression. And here we will enter a JQ expression that we will also test by clicking on this test JQ. I always recommend you to use this test JQ. You can either work with this dummy data, or even faster, you can select a specific instance of a problem so that you immediately get all the stuff filled in. And more specifically, we would like these tags to be to have a proper setting or data. This is the JQ expression, and when we click on the test calculation, it should show English as a language, because that's what is specified here. Okay, so we are now absolutely sure that this calculation property is working as expected, so we can save, we can create a new property and go back to the catalog page, and we should now check that this language property is shown here, and you can see the language is now nicely formatted without that raw JSON document shown for users. We will hide the text property for this catalog page as well, so we will hide here a text and only leave language, save the view, and that's it. So we now have a very user-friendly defined catalog pages, and this thematic collections folder is going to be the only visible part for ordinary users. That's all, folks. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this video and learn more about ways how to work with Port and shape an internal developer portal that best fits your requirements. If this is the case, please don't forget to press the like button on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching.